Welcome. This is Algebra 1, Semester 2, review study guide for Unit 7. Unit 7 is our exponents unit. It can be tricky if you're just reviewing, trying to learn concepts through review, because you'll be trying to memorize patterns and rules and things. I suggest that you go back to the notes and study what we did in the notes if you don't have the concepts down. This is simply targeting how to take the test and how to eliminate the wrong answers. So number 1, we're given the problem, or number 7 on the study guide, we're given the problem 4g to the negative third, h to the fourth, all raised to the negative third. If you remember right, in the unit we made the decision that negative exponents should be rearranged to be positive immediately upon seeing them. So this should cause this term to go down to the bottom and become positive. So it would be 4h to the fourth over g to the positive third. Now you notice that it's raised to a negative. So again, we need to flip to make these positive, or to make that positive. So we would go g to the third over 4h to the fourth, because that negative was affecting all of them. Now we'll raise it to the cube. When you raise it, you'll bring it in and multiply it. But right now, let's look at our answers and see if we can eliminate a few. We know that we're going to have g by itself up here. And if you look, this has a negative 12 on the top. This one has a negative 64. And that one has a 12 on the top. The only one with g alone on top is this. I would suggest that we go ahead and work it out. Make sure that that one verifies that it's going to be right. When we multiply our exponents, don't forget to put a 1 on your 4. So we have g to the 3 times 3, which would be 9, 4 to the third, and h to the 12th. Now, if we look at this, the only difference is 4 to the third is not expanded out to be 64, but we can clearly see that it is correct. So that's the first one. Now, in the next problem, we're asked to find h of x, which is f of x times g of x. When we multiply, like if we have x to the first times x to the second, we get x to the third because we add their exponents. Think about it, that would be x times x, which really does mean x cubed. Now, looking at the problem they've given us, negative 3c to the 1/2. We're multiplying that by 2 15/2c d to the negative 8. Following what we just did a minute ago, we take this negative exponent and we get it on the bottom. So we have negative 3c to the 1/2 times 2 15/2 over d to the 8th. Now, the reason you don't move that negative 3 down to the bottom is that it's not a negative exponent. That's a negative integer, and we can have those. So first thing I would look at is, can we eliminate any, just knowing that that d to the 8th is going to be on the bottom? We see that we can. Here they have c to the 8th on the bottom. Here they have nothing on the bottom. So that leaves us with these two. Now, the main difference between these two is negative 5 or negative 6, and the c to the 7th or c to the 8th. So let's see how it comes out. We know that we add our exponents, so we have 1/2 plus 15/2 would be c to the 16/2. 16/2 is equal to 8. Negative 3 times negative 2, negative 6. So our answer ends up being A. This one, the negative 5 and the 7 are both incorrect. Okay? Next problem. What is the simplest form? All we need to do is expand and simplify that. So we have 36 over 4. Well, immediately we know that that's going to be equal to 9. m to the negative 4 over m. Well, immediately we know we need to bring the negative 4 down, so we have m times m to the 4th on the bottom. We just took care of that on that step, bringing it down. Now we have n to the 6 and n to the negative 2. Well, again, we need to flip this to make it positive, so we have n to the 6, n to the 2. Now the last thing that we have here is p to the negative 4th. Again, we need to get it up where it can be positive, p to the 4th. Okay? Remember, we add exponents of like terms, so we have 9 n to the 8th over m to the 5th, and don't forget that p to the 4th up there as well. Okay? That brings us to, I want you to look at my answer options. I made it kind of rough on you. I put 9 in there for all of them, so you couldn't eliminate off that. The n, we have n to the 8th. There's two options with the n to the 8th. A does not have n to the 8th, it has n to the 4th. That would be incorrect. And D has n to the 8th on the bottom. So that's why those two would be out. P to the 4th is only happening in A, which is already eliminated, and C, which has not been eliminated. Okay? It does not occur in the right spot on B, so that's why it's out. Make sure to eliminate wrong answers. In multiple choice in math, the answers can be so similar you really want to look closely and do elimination. On number 10, we have radical 18 over 42. First thing we do when we have numbers in prison is, if they're in fraction form, see if we can reduce. 6 will go into both of these. So we remove 6, we reduce it by 6, which would be 3 over 7. Now, since we cannot reduce any further, then we ask ourselves, put them in separate prisons, can we get anybody out of either prison? Neither of these numbers break down to get anybody out, so now we need to get rid of the denominator on the bottom. That's something we cannot have. So we multiply it by its twin, because we know that's how it can get out of prison. We have 2 7s in prison together, we bring them out. On the top, because they're both on the inside, we can multiply them and actually show a product inside. So radical 21 over 7. And that is possible on A. If we look back at it, on C, well, they get everybody out of prison. And that's not possible. On D, they get everybody out of prison, or they don't get everybody out, but they reduce it to non-fraction. And on B, that 63 is incorrect. I'm not sure even what they did to do that. Okay, that's the end of the Unit 7 review. Good luck with that final exam. Study the notes if you're having trouble with concepts. Thank you.